What up, YouTubers, YouTubettes? So today I'm making nitric acid, and so here in my boiling flask I have 400 grams of potassium nitrate and 500 milliliters of sulfuric acid. And so I've got it going through a double distillation apparatus into this empty boiling flask, and then the gas out I've got coming out into this hydrogen peroxide bottle, which is about half full of hydrogen peroxide to catch the excess nitric oxide gas that's gonna come out. And so the peroxide will turn to nitric acid this way, and so that will catch the gas, but then the rest of it, which will turn to liquid through cooling through the distillation apparatuses, will turn to fuming nitric acid, which is almost pure nitric acid. And so yeah, this is the process that I'm doing, and it'll take about an hour, maybe two, to do the whole process. And so part of what's going to happen is, in the beginning, it's going to create the colored nitric oxide gas, and maybe 5 or 10 minutes into the process, the gas will lose its color, even though it will still be percolating through the hydrogen peroxide, and it'll be just more pure in that aspect. And so pretend that you wanted to make a pure and impure nitric acid. Once the gas clears, that would be when you'd want to change your boiling flask down here, so that way you'd only get clear gas, clear liquid coming over, and that would be how you'd get the purest. But for me, I don't care if I have it purest or not, because I'm probably going to end up diluting it down anyways. And so yeah, so anyways, I'll be back in a bit once it gets going pretty good. Alright, so it's been about 5 minutes now. You can see the color in here is gone away a fair amount, and then the color in here is gained a fair amount, and you can see how fast it's coming over. And the percolation in here was going pretty heavy for a minute or so, and now it's calmed down to where it's maybe a bubble every I don't know, 5 seconds. And so now would be the time where you'd want to change that out if you wanted to collect your nitric oxide or nitric acid as clean as possible. And so that's the entire process. It's really that simple. And so now, when the process is all done, what's going to happen is, in this vial or bottle, you're going to have a liquid still in the bottom, and it's going to be about half the volume that's in there, and it's gonna, when it cools, it'll crystallize. And so that you can reheat and it'll turn back to a liquid to get out, and it's also water soluble, and so you can get it out that way also. But I would recommend that you pour it out into something before it fully solidifies, just to make it easier, because typically if you heat your boiling flask with something hard in it that's not a liquid, you're going to end up cracking them, and that's kind of expensive to make stuff and then lose your boiling flasks every time. So yeah, but I expect, as far as like for a yield, for every milliliter of sulfuric acid, I should get a milliliter of nitric acid. And so now I've done this process with a whole bunch of different nitrates, and potassium seems to be the best yielder, followed up with ammonium nitrate, and but like calcium nitrate doesn't do too bad, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And then so your byproducts can also be really useful too, and depending on what two products you use, I mean, obviously sulfuric acid is going to be one, but the other, you can make some good byproducts. And so just keep that in mind, that when you're mixing different nitrates, that there may be more to benefit than just the nitric acid. And so, anyways, that's the whole process, guys. Till the next one.